Good morning. It's 6:03. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app's a free download. Erin has local news. She's getting ready.
Couple of armed robbers are on the loose. The mayor's pushing her budget. They worked hard all weekend, and the state fair's a wrap. So how'd it do this year?
It's not the Zapruder film. Good Lord, it's not the Zapruder film.
What are you talking about?
It's Chief Crump.
Oh, yeah.
Why is this such a big deal? It's not, never mind.
It's a big deal if we're being lied to.
We'll talk about it later. And who's going to be number one? Erin thinks it's going to be Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of experts think that Miami jumps to number two. I don't see that. Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Police are on the hunt for a pair of armed robbers. Matt Parker has details.
Shreveport police are on the hunt for two men that robbed a Zips car wash on Kitty Lane at gunpoint Sunday evening. According to police, the men brandished their weapons and demanded the store's manager place money into a backpack. Both men were allegedly carrying semi-automatic handguns. They were able to flee the scene on foot. No one was hurt during the encounter. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The Shreveport Council reviewing Mayor Ollie Tyler's proposed budget. In the deal, there's a lot of new money for police and fire. The budget calls for a $5 million renovation of the police complex, a $200 increase to the police wardrobe allowance, and base pay raise of 5%. Shreveport Fire Department also penciled in to get new EMS vehicles, a pay raise for paramedics, and more educational courses. The state fair is a wrap. The annual Arklatex Veterans Parade, a big hit. Overall attendance this year was up and down due to some storms and other changing weather conditions. General Manager Chris Giordano hopes a strong closing weekend will help the overall numbers out. This week, 2 years from now, voters will cast their ballots for Louisiana's next governor. Current Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards is planning to run again. Pollster Bernie Pincinat says Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry could challenge Edwards, and tensions between the two continue to escalate. He says expect GOP leaders to keep attacking the governor on various issues.
All of these Republicans are going to continue. We have a Democratic governor. The Republicans think that this is a red state, so they think the seat should go back to the Republicans.
Congressman Steve Scalise and Senator John Kennedy also mentioned as possible candidates. Meantime, the Edwards administration is disputing the claim by Attorney General Landry that the expansion of the Medicaid program has helped fuel the opioid crisis. Landry asserts that hundreds of thousands of new prescriptions have been provided to Louisiana patients in the past year at almost no cost, which has exacerbated the problem. LDH Chief of Staff Andrew Tuazola says nothing could be further from the truth, as there's solid data that shows the state has been successful at limiting painkiller prescriptions.
For every prescription, there are less actual amount of opioids going out. The Medicaid expansion, again, has been a lifeline on prevention, but also are limits that we've implemented in concert with the Medicaid expansion.
Complete domination, that's the best way to describe the Saints' 47-10 beatdown of the Buffalo Bills. Quarterback Drew Brees on the team's 7th straight win.
It's still not perfect. There's still things that we can clean up. But, when you walk away from a victory like today, where, it's a very tough environment to play against a very good team, to win the way that we did, certainly gives us a ton of confidence moving forward.
LSU scored 4 TDs in the second half Saturday to beat Arkansas 33-10. Coach Ed Orgeron is glad the 11 a.m. kickoff or last week's loss to Alabama didn't negatively impact his team.
We had to bounce back and not have a hangover like we did in the past couple of years, and we did. So And we knew it was going to be a struggle, especially in the first quarter. I thought, you know what, these guys came to play, but always thought that we were going to win the game.
Meantime, Arkansas quarterback Cole Kelly arrested for DWI, careless driving, and several other offenses in Fayetteville. Kelly was booked early Sunday morning. He's due in court today. Powerful earthquake that struck the Iraq-Iran border region has killed more than 300 people in both countries. And home sweet home is more than just a warm and fuzzy saying for a couple in Omaha. Becky Riley says thousands of honeybees invaded her attic and produced so much honey that it was dripping down the walls of her house. She had to call in roofers to clean up the mess and install a new roof. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Traffic update, first one of the week, Monday morning. Here's Ruben.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
It is 12 past 6 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app's a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. It's not the Zapruder film. Why? You're going over this frame by frame by frame, click by click.
People are sending it to me like that.
I understand that.
Which is fine.
An extra super slow-mo.
Yeah, and you can hear in the background
of the Shreveport Police dash cam video of Chief Crump dropping what they say is his cell phone, and I say they say is his cell phone just to sort of start the argument.
What do you think? You saw it.
I have absolutely no idea.
It doesn't look rectangular. That's all I'm
What time
say.
of day was it?
It was in the evening.
What time of day was
No,
it?
I don't know.
7, 8, 9
I don't
o'clock?
know.
Okay, the point I'm making is what you have is a slow-mo video
Mm-hmm.
of a man dropping something while he's running.
Yep.
And it's at night. And the light is basically from, like, the street light. Well, it's Shreveport, so you know it's not a street light.
Right.
But the point I'm making is the light is coming from somewhere.
Right.
Okay? It's not a movie set.
There's a lot of police officers on the scene. Their lights on their cars are
And
on.
there's lots of shadows, and there's lots of everything.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question would be, and I'm telling you, if I was inundated with people sending me this video this
I know.
weekend.
It went crazy on my phone,
Now,
too.
is it on the website?
I haven't put it up yet, no.
I can't believe that.
No.
You must have been busy Saturday because sending out the video to everybody.
There was a morning football game.
My point exactly. I was eating sausage balls.
No, I wasn't. Turkey balls.
So, what in the video leads you to believe that
I'm not making a judgment. I don't know.
the story from the city is the story from the city is that Chief Crump was chasing two suspects that they believe to be armed. Fair enough so far?
Yeah,
and
you
that-
only see one in the video. One
And
suspect.
that in the running after, in the chase, he drops his cell phone. And you can see something tumble across the sidewalk and into the grass. And he pursues that. Now, here's my question. If you're chasing a bad guy, and if you're chasing a bad guy with another officer, and I would assume, I got your back theory that we're in this together, that you look out for your partner at all times. If you dropped your cell phone, would that cause you to stop and rustle through the bushes, the grass, the whatever, in search of your cell phone when your partner, now, Officer Prunty is not his partner, but he's another officer.
Yeah, and they've already fired shots at the suspect.
You see my point?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know
I'm not diving for my cell phone. If my cell phone fell, I'm going to wait until things settle down before I go get my cell phone.
Imagine Clint Eastwood in the opening scene of the Dirty Harry movie. And he drops his cell phone. Do you think he would have stopped Do you feel lucky, punk? Hold on a second.
No.
I've dropped my
phone.
I've dropped my I-10.
Yeah, gotta go get it.
Yeah.
No, he's not. That's where I have an issue. My big issue is the officer down call. Because I have had many, many people tell me the officer down call did not go out until after the chief fell. He fell after he fired.
But we
Follow
had
me.
the text
Follow
on-
me. He fell after he fired shots.
We
He says
Yeah.
he fired shots because he had heard an officer down call.
But
it's
we-
out of order.
But we had the text from the Shreveport officer on Friday morning saying that everybody heard the officer down call.
They all heard it when the chief fell. That's when they heard it.
See, the sense I got from that was it was previous to that.
Nope. I heard from somebody who was on the scene who said that call went out after the chief had fallen. Now, that could be wrong. All this information now is speculation.
You're going to put the video up?
No. You can do it. I'll let you do
I got a radio show to do.
Me too.
Since when? You sit there and post all day long. Matt, what? Okay, now wait a second. If you wanted this video up, why are you hesitant to put that video up?
I'm not hesitant. I'm not. Everybody's seen it already. You can go see the main video. If you want to slow it down yourself, slow it down. It's already on the website, KEELnews.com.
So you don't think it's worth seeing? You think everybody's seen it? No, I guarantee you, 1% of Shreveport hasn't. Fewer than 5 out of 100 of our listeners have seen that video.
Maybe we'll put it up later when you get a chance. Put it up.
At 9 o'clock.
That's
it's
cool.
3 hours from now.
That's cool. I'm not in a rush to put this thing up. I don't know
So you
that
don't
it
think it's
tells
that-
anything.
So you don't think it's that big a deal either?
I don't think it tells us anything. I mean, I have my suspicions. It's all what's gonna, I pray, and this is silly to think of Jesus, that everything will come. If they're being deceptive with us, shame on them, and I'm gonna be hugely disappointed in our administration. If they'd have come out and said he fell, he dropped his gun when he fired it. He hadn't fired it in a long time.
Okay.
I get it. I get that.
Stop a second. I have a question to ask. We're going to go to break.
Mm-hmm.
We will go to break. I'm going to ask you a question during the break that you need to make a management decision. Do I dare ask this question on the air when we come back?
And you know my feelings. I've told Matt, I've told everybody that works for me. The worst thing you can do to me is lie.
Hold on a second.
If you tell me I screwed up, I made a mistake, I'm easy.
When we go to break, I will ask you the question.
Okay.
When we come back, you can decide
All right.
whether I ask the question on the radio or not.
Okay.
18 past 6 o'clock? No. 19 past 6. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Time for traffic. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got it clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 northbound near Kings Highway. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Mostly cloudy, low 49 tonight. Some sun will return for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Twenty past 6 o'clock. She said I couldn't ask. She said no. I mean, I see your point now. Although, we'll talk about it during sports. Here's Fletch on Keel.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger.
I can't go into too much detail. That's still an ongoing criminal investigation. Again, this is an overarching armed robbery that Chief Crump but sometimes may have different positions at the district courthouse.
But no cover-up at city.
There's nothing to cover up. Again, the district attorney reviewed the investigation of Shreveport Police Department, action and personnel. Again, this is about an armed robbery, an alleged armed robbery the department gave was very appropriate. So, there's no of the district attorney's criminal prosecution.
William.
I can't go into too much detail.
With just 2 completions for over 20 yards. His counterpart, Matt Ryan, threw 2 touchdown passes, and Tevin Coleman added 1 on the ground. Dallas falls to 5-4. The L.A. Rams blasted Houston in L.A. 33-7 with Jared Goff throwing 3 touchdowns to lead the way. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
I see your point. I see your point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
1017 FM 710 Keel app, free download, blah, blah, blah. All this furniture source.
Don't blah, blah, blah.
I'm trying to stare.
Download the app, please.
It's like if you've got a dog, and this is going to sound, when I start this off, it's going to sound horrible, but I really mean it kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a dog, and in most cases, see, the one rule at my house was dogs, when I had dogs, they never got people food. Never.
I'm the same, yeah.
They knew just not to ask.
Right.
But they would still try.
Every now and then they would give it a go.
And they would come and they would say, well, what would happen is if I had people over, they would go to their side of the table, the guest side, and they would sit right at their feet.
Thinking maybe there's a sucker here.
Well, I call it doggy hypnotism, where they look at you and you
Mm-hmm.
can see, I know I'm just a dog.
Don't you love me?
But I can stare at you, and through the power of my mind,
cute.
You will give me chicken.
Yeah.
You will give me potatoes. I love potatoes.
Yeah.
I've never had one, but I can tell I love them. And they just stare at you. You know, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
That's called doggy hypnotism, where they try through the power of my mind. My IQ is 12, but I think I'm smarter than you. Okay, so I'm thinking if I stare at you as though I were a Yorkshire Terrier, or in your case, a Boston Terrier.
Yeah.
And you have fried chicken or potatoes.
I'll give it to you.
I'm thinking if I stare at you long enough, you'll let me ask the question.
No, I don't think so. No, stop staring. No chicken for you.
Rats.
No chicken for you.
But I'm smarter than you. Okay, I'll work the room.
Okay, yeah.
All morning long.
Keep
Work
browbeating.
Yeah.
Huh?
Keep browbeating. You'll get there.
You think I can wear her down?
Oh.
Well, you know, Erin's not exactly known for her willpower.
Okay, stop just a second.
You got a point.
Okay, I apologize that we're kind of talking about something that nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
But I asked Erin a question. I said, about the latest Crump super slow-mo video and the incident in general. And without Erin said, no, you cannot. No, no, no. And honestly, I see her point. That being the case, and I apologize for not being able to tell you guys what I said. That being the case, you think it's a hell of a question.
I definitely think it's a question worth asking, and I'll just leave it at that.
But not on the radio. I mean, you see her point, too.
I can see both sides. It would lead to an interesting discovery. It just depends on how far you want to put your foot in your mouth.
Yeah.
In the end, that possibility does indeed indeed exist.
Oh, man.
All right. So LSU on Saturday, you had to be a happy woman.
Oh, I was happy. I'm not happy about that 11 a.m. That's nonsense, but, you know, that's okay. I got up and
If you don't want to play at 11 in the morning, you know who doesn't play at 11 in the morning?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, whatever.
You know who doesn't play at 11 in the morning anymore? Miami.
Yeah, you got a point.
So give me your top four. Right now, two upsets. Two of the top four teams lose and lose badly.
Oh, huge. Notre Dame got spanked. Georgia
Okay.
got spanked.
Okay, number one.
Number one's Alabama.
Number two.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm going with Oklahoma.
So Oklahoma and Clemson, who is number four, both won decidedly. Clemson was number four, and they dismissed Florida State, maybe?
I think so.
And like 38-10, 34-14 something. So you're going to have the number 5 team jump the number 4 team, even though the number 4 team won easily.
Yeah,
won
and that was
handily.
college football final. They both did that. The exact same thing. Oklahoma's number 2. I'm going kind of with what they're doing.
I know what you're
Wisconsin's third.
No, what?
Wisconsin's third.
Okay.
And then Miami. I got to go with the undefeateds.
So you would take number 8 or 9 Wisconsin. I know what you're thinking.
I don't
Robert,
want to, but
Robert, why do you ask me my opinion and then tell me my opinion's bad? Okay, so you have Alabama 1. You bump Clemson, who was number 4. You completely bump them out of the top 4.
yeah. I'm torn with the Wisconsin pick. I really am. I'm torn with putting Clemson and Wisconsin.
And you're taking the number 4 team, and not only are you eliminating them, but you're jumping 3 teams over them. So
Yeah.
3 of your teams. And you're making who number 2? You're moving Oklahoma.
I'm thinking it's Oklahoma.
You're moving Oklahoma with 1 loss up to number 2.
Yeah.
And then you're taking Miami.
Miami looks good, man.
Wait, here's what you've done. You're taking Miami, putting them at 4, But Wisconsin, who is behind them,
No, I don't know about the Wisconsin. I'm waffling on that. But I know Miami should be there. Miami should be one of the top 4. They spanked Notre Dame.
Okay, so give me your 4 in no particular order.
No order. It's Alabama, Miami, Wisconsin, and Oklahoma. Clemson is a close 5th there.
Wow.
My issue is when Auburn plays Alabama in 2 weeks.
Let's get back to this.
That's going to be a mess.
Let's get back to this. So you're taking the defending national champion, currently in the top 4 with 1 loss, and saying, see ya, kids.
Yeah. They still don't have it this year.
Parky, give me your 4.
Let's see here. My 4 would be Alabama at 1. Then I think I would go Miami at 2. Then I would go Clemson and probably Oklahoma rounding up the top 4.
Here's what it's going to be. Alabama number 1. My poor friend Marty, he went to Mississippi State. He was dying.
So close.
Poor Marty. Alabama number 1. Clemson number 2. Because you're just not going to have 2 teams jump the number 4 team who won handily. So Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Oklahoma. Or Oklahoma, Miami. It could go either way.
You still have Miami set to play Clemson. Miami is going to crunch them.
29 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic time. Just ahead of Erin and local news, here's Ruben.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Forecast, clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Shreveport police are on the hunt for 2 men that robbed the Zips car wash on Kitty Lane at gunpoint last night. According to police, the men brandished their guns, demanding the store manager put the money in a backpack. Both men were allegedly carrying semi-automatic guns. They were able to flee the scene on foot. No one was hurt during the incident. New budget could give a bump to first responders. Matt Parker has that.
The Shreveport City Council is reviewing Mayor Ollie Tyler's proposed 2018 budget. In the budget is a lot of new funds for police and fire. The budget calls for a $5 million renovation of the police complex, a $200 increase to the police's wardrobe allowance, and base pay raises of 5%. The Shreveport Fire Department is also penciled in to get new EMS vehicles, a pay raise for paramedics, and more educational classes. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
In 2 years, you'll be casting ballots for our next governor. Current Governor John Bel Edwards is planning to run again. Pollster Bernie Pincinat says Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry could challenge Edwards, and tensions between the two continue to escalate. Pincinat says there's been word that along with Landry, Congressman Garrett Graves and Steve Scalise, as well as Senator John Kennedy, are taking a look at the seat.
The person who has the first say on this is U.S. Senator John Kennedy. He's the guy who has the power and the wherewithal to be the candidate if he wants to be.
Pincinat says expect GOP leaders to keep attacking the governor on various issues, and one they're on the attack over. The claims by Attorney General Jeff Landry that the expansion of the Medicaid program has helped fuel the opioid crisis. LDH Chief of Staff Andrew Tuozola says legislation passed this year that limits first-time prescriptions for opioids has been effective. He says the total number of pills prescribed has decreased by more than 10 million doses, a 3% reduction from the year before Medicaid expansion to the year after. He says Medicaid expansion has also helped thousands get treatment for addiction to painkillers.
The fact of the matter is that the Medicaid expansion is a lifeline, first of all, for people with addiction. Like we said, 13,000 instances of treatment for addiction. So there's people that are now getting treatment.
The state fair wrapped up yesterday with the annual Arklatex Veterans Parade. Overall attendance this year was up and down due to some storms and other changing weather conditions. General Manager Chris Giordano hopes a strong closing weekend would help their overall numbers out. LSU is now 7-3, 4-2 in the SEC after a big win over Arkansas. This Saturday, they'll visit a Tennessee team that was crushed by Missouri 50-17. The Vols are 0-6 in league, but Coach O says their preparation for Saturday's game is about LSU.
I think one thing that's going to help us this week that we've seen that although we won the game, we didn't play well in spots. And when you win the game and your team doesn't play well in spots, they kind of see it on film and they respond a little bit better.
Meantime, Arkansas quarterback Cole Kelly arrested for DWI, careless driving, and several other offenses in Fayetteville. Kelly was booked Sunday morning. He's due in court for his first hearing today. Kelly played the fourth quarter in Arkansas's loss to LSU Saturday. A powerful earthquake that struck the Iraq-Iran border region has killed more than 330 people in both countries. The chairman of the House Tax Writing Committee expressing confidence that chamber won't go along with the Senate's proposal to eliminate the deduction for property taxes, setting up what could be a major stumbling block in getting the deal done. A new study shows women are less likely than men to get CPR from a bystander and are more likely to die as a result. Researchers say they think it's because people are reluctant to touch a woman's chest. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Do you have more Amazon stuff?
Yeah, I do.
Move your mic back to the... What did you get? 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin, what did you get?
I got a swimsuit.
Beg your pardon?
I got a swimsuit.
Hold it up, let me see.
No, I'm not holding it up.
Why?
No, that's embarrassing.
Just want to see what color it is.
It's navy blue with flowers on it.
Kind of nice.
It's not a bikini, just in case you were wondering.
I didn't ask. It is pretty. That's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You do realize what you've become.
Crazy.
Well, okay if you admit it.
That too.
I was thinking back to when QVC or Home Shopping Network or some of those were so in vogue and new in the early to mid 90s, late 80s, whatever it happened to be.
Who would sit there with popcorn and order stuff off QVC
and
drunk?
You literally would, that would be me.
Yeah, I know.
But we're talking about you now.
Love that salad spinner, don't you?
And makes a hell of a hat. Wow. The point I was going to make was you would read the stories about these little old ladies who would
that one man
have $1 million and they would pardon me, they would, I won't use the word, they would waste away their fortunes. I mean, and then they would die, and they would look in their garages, and there would be $500,000 of QVC stuff that they never bought, that they never used.
Queen of Ronco.
And that literally is what you've turned into. You're ordering stuff off Amazon like you're a drunk me, well, a little old lady. You are, because of your discipline, because of your will, because of your financial because of your financial intellect is very high. You are in good financial shape for your retirement.
Yes.
It's going to be gone.
No, it's not. I'm not dipping into it. But you know what I did?
Yet.
I hate to admit this. I just opened up that package, that swimsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And last week I got a swimsuit in the mail from Amazon too that I ordered. They look very similar. Did I order the same one twice?
Don't look at me.
Then I need to be put on Amazon Rehab if I did.
That's the point I'm making.
I need Amazon
It's going to be
Rehab.
gone. All your money's...
No, I'm good. I haven't touched my retirement.
Famous last words.
Yet.
Oh, man, but I may need to talk to that broccoli dealer that we know. So
Yeah, that's good. I'll pay for my Amazon habit with
wagers?
With gambling. 639, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. If you missed our chat on, is this really worth replaying?
Oh, yeah. Because I like the part about him saying he dropped his cell phone. He was emphatic about it.
This is a controversy that seems to not...
Well, it's going to be up at the city council today and tomorrow, too, because Councilman Bradford has a resolution on the agenda today showing a no confidence vote for the chief.
But it
has no teeth.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it for what? People drop stuff all the time. That's what's so...
But do you lie about it?
But, okay, so
if it's a lie.
My question to you is then if it's nothing, look, how many things do you drop a day? Admittedly, it's not your weapon, but on the other hand, it could happen.
Absolutely.
He's a man my age running across the street or a field in the dark, and it's very... And so I guess my point is, what would be the purpose? Why would you lie about it?
Exactly. That's what
So
I'm going to say it's a cell phone until I see other evidence, but more and more other evidence is starting to come forward.
639, just changed. 640, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Our Friday chat with City Attorney William Bradford is next. In the meantime, Reuben time.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
I can't go into too much detail. That's still an ongoing criminal investigation. I can't go into too much detail. That's still an
Okay, 642, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, and the KEEL app from Office Furniture Source. On Friday, we chatted with City Attorney William Bradford about the Chief Crump deal. Mm-hmm. And Erin says, we need to replay that.
Yeah, because we didn't get to play that until the 8 o'clock hour.
But the first question is, so what happened? He goes, I can't tell you. I mean,
he says some things in there that are eye-opening, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. But the first question was, What happened? Walk me through the time frame. I can't tell you. In fact, well, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, here was my first question. So, Mr. William, can you walk me through the time frame of everything that happened? So for all of us, me included, who don't really have a clear picture of what happened that evening, what can you tell me?
You know, I can't go into too much detail. That's still an ongoing criminal investigation. Again, this is an overarching armed robbery that Chief Crump responded to. I know the district attorney is still in the process of prosecuting that matter. So, you know, from what I can discuss here, from what I'm aware of, there was an alleged armed robbery that occurred. The individual was the property owner, the restaurant owner, fired a shot at one of the alleged suspects. I think he is since deceased. Two of the other alleged suspects fled the scene, and Shreveport Police Department responded. There was an ensuing chase, and I believe both suspects have since been apprehended.
When you say armed robbery, were all three of these young men armed? Was one? Was two? What do you know about that? What can you tell us?
Again, that's in the hands of the district attorney. I don't have the details to all of the specifics regarding the armed robbery, and I'm not even comfortable really disclosing everything while this is still unfolding. What I am aware of is of course, I've done a review of footage and incident reports, and I had to make a determination of whether or not there were any purported policy violations from either Lieutenant Prunty, who also fired his weapon, as well as Chief Crump. The district attorney did conduct a review of the investigation that was done by Shreveport Police Department and found that there was no basis for filing any kind of criminal action against either Chief Crump or Lieutenant Prunty.
On the audio that we have heard, there are 3 shots fired. Were all 3 of those fired by, were any of the shots fired by the alleged criminals, or were all 3 fired by Shreveport police?
From the audio, I know that there were 3 shots fired by Lieutenant Prunty, and there was 1 shot also fired by Chief Crump.
Let me ask you this. There are those who say the chief dropped his gun. Others are saying now they've seen it close. He dropped his cell phone. You've watched it really close. What did you see? What do you know?
Yeah, I've watched the video several times. I've had it enhanced, zoomed in, slowed down. I've also spoken with Chief Crump, and you know, I frankly and definitively, I can say that it's not his weapon that falls. It's clear from the video and my review of the video that as Chief Crump is chasing the suspect, when he fires his weapon, it appears that his cell phone becomes dislodged from his utility belt, which he commonly carries on the front of his on the front of his utility belt. That falls forward, tumbles, you know, several feet. Chief Crump maintains control of his firearm in his right hand. He bends down with his left hand to recover his cellular device. At that time, he kind of stumbles and falls forward. It's a grassy area, stumbles and falls forward. He recovers himself fairly quickly and returns to the chase of the suspect.
Since 3 shots had already been fired by Officer Prunty and the ensuing chase and the chief fired, is it safe to assume, obviously they thought that these suspects were armed?
Right. And, you know,
is there any evidence of that?
The district attorney had to look at it when he reviewed it is whether or not they acted reasonably or whether they acted criminally. Clearly, the district attorney agrees that, you know, there was no criminal actions from either Lieutenant Prunty or Chief Crump. It's a split-second decision, and, you know, ultimately it shows that both of these officers are out there being police officers. I mean, this was clearly a suspect who was aggressively fleeing from the police. Again, there was shots fired earlier on that led to the entire chase. So this is a very hot situation. This is an incident where you have a lot of police response in a very confined and tight area. You know, you're going to look at, you know, what's the potential harm to the public, what's the potential harm to other officers. So, you know, I appreciate our Shreveport Police Department. I appreciate their response to this, and we look forward to a resolution of, you know, the overarching crime, which was the armed robbery.
City Attorney William Bradford, I have one issue I want you to clear up if you can. I know you'll try. I have an issue with in the audio, you can hear Chief Crump say he heard the words "officer down" as he's arriving on the scene.
Okay.
I was told by some people on the scene that they also heard those words, but they thought it was referencing Chief Crump had fallen down. That's where I'm mixed up, because his shots came out, he says, after he heard officer down. Well, his shots already came before he fell down. You follow me?
Sure. You know, in those high-stress environments, in those high-stress situations, when an individual is recounting those facts, it's not uncommon for them to transpose facts or to, you know, they hear it one way, another person hears it another. It's just like when I see car accidents. You know, you don't always remember was it light yellow, was it light red. It's a very common occurrence for individuals who are recounting those high-stress situations to not be 100% accurate. It doesn't mean that they're lying. It doesn't mean that they're misleading the investigators. It means that as they recall the facts in that high-stress environment, that's how they recall them. But again, we have to remember, you do have, it's clear and straightforward that, you know, Lieutenant Prunty fired 3 times. This suspect is still fleeing. Chief Crump does say in his statement he turned towards him, the suspect turned towards him, and he had to make a split-second decision. Again, with the totality of the circumstances that this is clearly an armed robbery suspect, he is fleeing from police, has been fleeing from police for several minutes now, and doesn't appear to want to stop. He has very little regard for the public as a whole. The police department has an obligation to be police officers.
Mr. William, we'd heard from a couple of folks that the chief was in pursuit without vest and or radio. Is that a violation of policy? Is that going to affect the investigation? Will there be any fallout from that? Is that true?
I don't know that that's true. I do know that Chief Crump regularly wears his bulletproof vest or some kind of protective device. I have not looked at that portion of the investigation, but you know, I believe Chief Crump responded in a reasonable manner, and he did everything he could to help protect the lives of the citizens as well as the police officers around him.
Now, there's a home in the area that was hit by one of the bullets. You guys have to be concerned about that. We could have had a child killed, you know, et cetera. How do you respond to that? I know the chief is probably distraught about that, I would guess.
Of course, and we don't know where the bullet came from. I don't have the information of whose gun was responsible for that bullet, but I will say this, that no police officer wants to fire their weapon. And so when you have a high-risk life or death situation like that, of course they have to take the appropriate response. You know, that's why they're armed. And you know, they have to be reasonable under circumstances. But again, at any time that anyone ever fires a weapon, there is always a risk. And so it's a very calculated decision. It's a decision that goes to the very essence of why we have police officers. Again, this is a very high-stress situation. And so I believe he made a very informed decision and made the decision he felt was most appropriate under the circumstances.
Lastly, and we'll let you go. Appreciate your time. Were any of the bullets fired by any of the criminals?
You know, at this time, I go back to the fact that this is an ongoing criminal prosecution. You know, the district attorney has to evaluate all these facts and circumstances and look at all of these inferences and all the evidence. So he's still making that decision. He's still moving forward with that prosecution. So I don't want to speak to anything that would jeopardize the integrity of that investigation and ultimately of that potential trial.
It would seem to be it would help to say that these guys did fire shots, and you guys have wanted transparency, but we don't know if even the criminals fired a one shot.
You know, again, it goes back to, it's not a question of transparency. I think the administration has been very transparent in how it's handled this investigation. That's why Chief Crump was placed on leave, so that the investigation could go forward without any influence or any appearance of influence from him. But again, this is an ongoing, ordinarily, we would not disclose any information related to an incident like this, okay? So we don't want to do anything that compromises, you know, what a jury will hear, what a jury may potentially hear, what a judge may potentially hear, what may potentially be said in court. And so we don't want to take the risk of doing anything that could adversely affect the outcome of this trial.
Are you guys a little upset that the DA has released all the dash cam and everything that he was releasing? I assume you guys didn't want that to happen?
Well, it's not a question of wanting it to happen. We you know, the city takes the position that as long as there is the law says that, you know, as long as there is criminal litigation or criminal proceeding going forward, that those documents are not public record until the matter is adjudicated. That's Louisiana Revised Statute 44.3. But the district attorney is the most appropriate agency to determine what's germane and relevant to their prosecution. And so they're the most appropriate agency to release any documents related to the overarching alleged armed robbery that occurred. So, you know, it's his decision as the district attorney what documents he feels will not affect the outcome of his criminal prosecution, but it's not for the city to determine that. We're not the ones prosecuting these individuals. We don't prosecute felonies. That's the district attorney's responsibility. And so I think this is a good example of how, you know, the two agencies interact, but sometimes may have different positions on when to release certain information. Again, we're going to err on the side of caution at the city. We don't want to do anything that compromises what he is doing across the street at the district courthouse.
But no cover-up at City Hall, emphatically saying that.
No, there's nothing to cover up. Again, the district attorney reviewed the investigation of Shreveport Police Department action and personnel action and cleared them of any wrongdoing. Again, this is about an armed robbery, an alleged armed robbery that occurred, and the response the police department gave was very appropriate. So, you know, there's no effort to try and hide anything or keep anything. We want to make sure we do everything to protect the integrity of the district attorney's criminal prosecution.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Time for traffic. The latest info. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still running nice and smooth for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Linwood Avenue near Mount Zion Road due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Gotta go. 657, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
So back on October 23rd, the Washington Post endorsed Doug Jones, the Democrat running for the Senate in Alabama, the seat Jeff Sessions used to have. The Post called him a credit to the state. Now, the endorsement included a scathing attack on the Republican, Judge Roy Moore. They called Moore unfit to serve. Their main complaint was he's unfit to serve because of his decision to allow the 10 Commandments to be displayed on state property. Then, on November 9th, the Washington Post delivered a bombshell, a story accusing Judge Moore of having inappropriate relations with a teenage girl almost 40 years ago. The judge categorically denies it. A swift reaction from the swamp, Senator McCain called the allegations against Moore deeply disturbing and disqualifying. Whether they were true or not, McCain called for Moore to step aside right now. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell also urged Moore to step down, but at least he added if the allegations are true. Luther Strange, who Moore defeated in the primary, called the news report very, very disturbing. And then came a story in The Hill about Lisa Murkowski, Alaska senator. In 2010, she beat back a Tea Party challenge to her seat with a write-in vote. So she is suggesting that Luther Strange run his own write-in campaign. Thankfully, none of these establishment figures are Russian. Otherwise, there might be suspicions of collusion. Louis C.K. had no comment.
Join us Tuesday morning for a Town Square on Education. Scott Smith, Lamar Gorey, and Kate Brumley will be in studio to talk about the future of education. Tuesday morning at 8 on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
6:59 traffic time. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on North Market and North Hearn Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Mostly cloudy, low 49 tonight. Some sun will return for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
3 past 7 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Miss Erin, local news just a couple of seconds away.
One Shreveport council member wants a vote of no confidence in the police chief. We'll talk about that. We're still 2 years away from the governor's race, but you might be surprised about who's taking a close look at that race. And the state fair is in the books, so how'd we do this year?
You had a story in news last hour. We'll talk this hour about opioid addiction and Medicaid expansion.
I'll have that too.
And we need to talk about that just a little bit. Plus, Erin Happy, LSU should be in the top 4. At least that's what she says.
No.
They're that good when they want to be. Fletcher and sports, traffic, and weather all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report, now on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
One Shreveport City Council member wants his colleagues to go on the record about the job the chief of police is doing. Willie Bradford has a resolution before the council this week that is a vote of no confidence in Alan Crump's reign as chief. In just 2 years, Louisiana voters will elect a governor. Pollster Bernie Pincinat says Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry could challenge John Bel Edwards, and tensions between the two continue to escalate. Pincinat says Congressman Steve Scalise could also jump in the race, and he would not have to give up his seat in Congress while running.
Yeah, that's a huge deal for them. I get to run for governor. If I lose, I'm still a congressman. I'm still a senator. But Kennedy is the one who decides which one of them runs.
Current Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards is planning to run again, and of course, as he mentioned, Senator Kennedy is considering the race as well. Shreveport police are on the hunt for 2 men that robbed the Zips car wash on Kitty Lane at gunpoint last night. According to officers, the men pulled their guns and demanded the store manager put money in a backpack. Both were allegedly carrying semi-automatic handguns. They were able to flee the scene on foot. No one was hurt during the incident. You can see the robbers at KEELnews.com. The Shreveport City Council is reviewing Mayor Ollie Tyler's proposed budget. In the budget, a lot of new money for police and fire. The budget calls for a $5 million renovation of the police complex, a $200 increase to the police wardrobe allowance, and a base pay raise of 5%. The Shreveport Fire Department also penciled in to get new EMS vehicles, a pay raise for paramedics, and more educational courses. The State Fair is in the books for this year. Matt Parker takes a look back.
The 2017 State Fair Louisiana wrapped up Sunday with their annual Arklatex Veterans Parade. Overall, attendance at the fair this year was up and down due to some storms and other changing weather conditions. General Manager Chris Giordano hopes that a strong closing weekend will help their overall numbers out. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The Edwards administration disputing claims by Attorney General Jeff Landry that the expansion of the Medicaid program has helped fuel the opioid crisis. The state health department says there are fewer painkillers on the streets in the last year, and more individuals are seeking life-saving substance abuse treatment. LDH Chief of Staff Attorney Andrew Tuazola says legislation passed this year that limits first-time prescriptions for opioids says it's been effective.
So we've seen a 40% decrease in the amount of opioids prescribed per prescription.
President Trump again thanking the president of the Philippines for hosting world leaders at an international summit. Trump tells the leaders of member nations gathered in Manila that he's here to advance peace, to promote security, and to work with you to achieve a truly free and open Indo-Pacific. In LSU's big win over Arkansas, quarterback Danny Etling threw for 217 yards and 2 TDs. both to DJ Chark. The Alexandria native says their preparation going into the game paid off.
We missed some opportunities last week. Me and Danny really worked on it. The whole team worked on it. I feel like the receivers and the quarterback was on a better page today. We still have room for improvement, but the O-line did a pretty good job in making that happen. I think as a group, we was able to accomplish something.
Tigers traveled Tennessee this Saturday. Is Barbie about to get hitched to the Moneybags guy from Monopoly? Well, not exactly, but there is a corporate union that may come to pass. There's a report that Hasbro has made a takeover bid for Mattel. Such a deal could bring together well-known brands like Monopoly, Barbie, Nerf, and Hot Wheels. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Ten past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, the KEEL app traffic update. Rapid Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on North Market and North Hearn Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Hiring is important, but finding
Twelve past 7 o'clock, Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. For a little bit this morning, Shreveport City Councilman Willie Bradford is here. Mr. Willie, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Robert. How are you?
I'm getting younger every day, just like you are, sir. Thank you for taking this incident, if you will, the events of the last few weeks with Chief Crump. You want to have a vote of confidence, or in this case, I guess, lack of confidence today. Does your lack of confidence in Chief Crump, does it have just to do with these recent events, or is it something bigger? Is it something more than that?
Oh, it's more than that, Robert. I did not even include the incident that happened 2 weeks ago in my consideration of my resolution. It's just been the spike in crime over the last months, and the continual crime element perpetrated in this community. And I see no real strategies and planning being offered to the citizens to eradicate or even reduce those acts.
Willie, your resolution would have no weight, right? I mean, it's just symbolic, correct?
Well, it has no real authority to do anything except for exhort the mayor to act.
And you want to see how your fellow council members feel about the chief too, right?
Well, we've been working together now for 3 years. We've been familiar, and there has been conversation over the last year, at least over the last few months, regarding the chief and his performance. And behind the scenes, there have been some expressions that was really concerning. Now, whether or not they publicly express those sentiments is another thing.
Mr. Willie, I would think that this is an effort born of frustration, in that you've had conversations with the chief, you've had conversations with the mayor, you've had conversations with maybe even others in law enforcement, specifically SPD, and you feel like you're not being heard. Is that the case?
That's not the case. The issue with me, Robert, is that I was elected, and I think government has a responsibility. Matter of fact, I think the fundamental responsibility of city government as well as government is to ensure that our citizens live in a very safe environment. Shreveport, I can say unequivocally, we in my constituents, I represent a very high crime community, and my citizens don't feel safe. We feel like we're sometimes hostages in our own homes. There are approaches that could be taken that could calm some of these fears, and I'm not talking about sentimental approaches. I mean, there can be plans and strategies instituted that could show these citizens that the police department is proactive in addressing these high crimes. I mean, the crime statistics are not made up; they're not artificial.
Let me ask you this, Willie. We're talking to City Councilman Willie Bradford. The sheriff has offered to help. I'm told the chief said thanks, but no thanks. Do you think that was wrong? Actually, first off, is that accurate? And do you think we need the sheriff and the sheriff's department to come in and help?
Again, Erin, I'll go back, and I was part of an community organization back in '88, I think it was, when the city instituted Operation Thor.
Yep.
Where the sheriff department, the police department, and the state police came in and had a non-tolerance crime reduction plan, and we ran out and eradicated and reduced crime in Shreveport. I passed a resolution back in August of this year, same type of resolution, asking the mayor to invite the sheriff to come into the city of Shreveport and help patrol and offer other crime-fighting strategies. It passed 6-0 in the city council, and yet the mayor did not reach out to the sheriff. I spoke with the sheriff about this. It wasn't something I just pulled out my hat. And I wasn't looking for Shreveport to fund it. I had already talked to some parish commissioners that if it would have passed and that the mayor would have offered the sheriff, that the sheriff would have given us a proposed budget to help with patrolling in the side of Shreveport for 90 days and attach a budget with that. I was going to ask the parish commission to fund that initiative, and they were willing to do it. But because it was never requested by the mayor to the sheriff never had an opportunity to review it. And I'm just saying, these are the kind of things that I'm talking about. We know, and we can't let emotions and personality get into this. We feel, my district feel like we're under siege. Citizens of Shreveport feel like we're under siege with this crime element, and yet we acting as though business as usual. And that's not right. The citizens deserve more than this. We owe it to our citizens to provide a safe city.
Mr. Willie, in that same vein, Erin and I were told by, let's say, an anonymous law enforcement official that if he were in charge of the Shreveport Police Department until the crime numbers were lowered, there wouldn't be one officer working a desk. They would all be out on the street. Do you feel a frustration in that, in your mind, that the allocation of forces, that the allocation of resources is at this point misappropriated?
I do feel that way, and that's one of the strategies that I was referring to. I'm a manager. I've managed different organizations in my career for over 40 years. I understand how you redistribute resources to address a problem, okay? And we cannot pretend or not take appropriate actions when we have a crisis going on, and our crisis in crime and violence and shootings and murders in this city has reached crisis proportions, and yet we're going to let business go as usual. I'm saying that to calm some fears and to put forward some progressive action, you have to make these adjustments. You have to say, okay, we're going to redistribute some of our officer resources, take these guys from behind the desk, put them on the streets. We can show the citizens that we're making an attempt. Now the results is not about it. We can't control the results, but we can try. We can show them that we are trying to make a difference and make the city safe. And that's my frustration, is that in spite of all that we're talking about, that no action has been initiated, even to give the citizens any relief of fear that the Shreveport Police Department is doing something, and yet we have officers, I think, misplaced in positions that is irrelevant at this time in the career of Shreveport Police.
If Chief Crump is not the guy, and we want to move on and get a new chief, who is that guy? Is it someone from outside? Do we have someone in the department who could do this job? It's a big deal.
Again, I'm not prefacing anything. I think that, and I'm from a culture that we want the best. We need to do a national search. We need to find the best possible available chief of police who has the record, who has the experience, who has the forward thinking, who has the overall vision of what this police department is capable of doing, potential of doing, and how we can move forward in a safe and a city where the quality of life would be one that we won't have to be worried about leaving our houses at night to go to the store, and because we know that the police department is on a 24/7 visual to keep us safe. And leadership matters, Robert, Erin. Leadership matters. Mm-hmm. I think, and I've been getting some feedback as you have been getting back, and the rank and file, majority of them are not happy because they feel like they are being somewhat restrained from doing their job because of the inexperience of the chief and his leadership.
Councilman Willie Bradford, thank you so much for your time.
Sure, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
20 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Fletcher in Sports just a couple of seconds away. And if you don't know about tomorrow morning's show, what? Tomorrow between 8 and 9, our very own Robert and Erin, if you will, Education Summit. Details coming up next here on KEEL. In the meantime, here's Ruben and Traffic.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Hollywood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Old Minden Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Mostly cloudy, low 49 tonight. Some sun will return for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. The Keel app sounds awesome. Sports update. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk.
And we want to move on and get a new chief. Who is that guy? Is it someone from outside?
Again, I'm not prefacing anything. I think that, and I'm from we need to do a national search. We need to find the best possible available chief of police who has the record, who has the experience, who has the forward thinking, who has the overall vision of what this police department is capable of doing, potential of doing, and how we can move forward in a safe in a city where the quality of life would be potential of doing, and how we can this police department is capable of doing, potential of doing. We need to do it.
Blasted Houston in LA 33-7 with Jared Goff throwing 3 touchdowns to lead the way. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
One Shreveport City Council member wants his colleagues to go on the record about the job the chief of police is doing. Willie Bradford has a resolution before the council this week that is a vote of no confidence in Alan Crump's reign as chief. KEEL News asked Bradford who we should try to bring in as chief if a change is made.
We need to do a national search. We need to find the best possible available chief of police who has the record, who has the experience, who has the forward thinking, who has the overall vision of what this police department is capable of doing, potential of doing.
Bradford's resolution has no impact on the chief's future. He simply wants to send a signal to the mayor. Shreveport police on the hunt for 2 men that robbed Zip's car wash on Kitty Lane at gunpoint last night. According to police, the men pulled their guns and demanded the store's manager put money in a backpack. No one was hurt.
Hang on just a couple of seconds. I have to make a note here for later in the show. There's a lot. Well, I'm letting you make decisions for me this morning.
Okay, it's scary.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Hold on a second. I'll come back to this. It was a quote. It was, and I'll tell you off the air first.
Okay.
Because it's really mean and really awful and really awful. And I'm going to tell you, because I don't know if it's a discussion we want to have, and it is sort of an offshoot, a branch, if you will, of all this Chief Crump stuff and Shreveport police. We'll talk about it off the air, because, look, there's already been one question. There's already been one question this morning I wanted to ask on the air, and you said no.
No.
You don't want to get into that.
No.
And I see your point. Matt thought it was an awesome question that begs be asked. Here's one for you. Because we just got off the phone with City Councilman Willie Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
And later today at the City Council meeting, tomorrow, it's a working session today, meeting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, work session today, meeting tomorrow.
So will it come up today? What will they do today pertaining to his motion, his vote of confidence, or in his case, lack of confidence in Chief Crump?
What they typically do on the work session day is they talk about it. Yeah. They'll say, what is your reason for this? Why do you want us to vote on this? Can you pull it? Can we postpone it? Can we, those sorts of things.
Okay, so that leads to my question. If you're the other 6 Shreveport City Council people, and you go into that session today, and Mr. Willie brings up, I want to do this, Chief Crump, vote of lack of confidence, because I don't have any confidence in the guy.
Right.
Are the other 6 going to go, don't put me on the spot, dude?
No, Jerry Bowman will vote for it. He wants him gone.
I don't want to do that.
Bowman wants him gone, so we know there's 2 votes. I don't know how the others will. If I'm the others, I would say, it's really not our business.
That's what I mean.
But they really need to make it their business. They need to turn up the heat. If this is not the police chief.
Interesting phrase you just used. They need to turn up the heat.
Like Jerry Bowman said to us, what was his quote? The mayor needs to light a fire under the chief, and if not, fire the chief.
29 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update just ahead of Erin's local news. That is next. Ruben is here on KEEL.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Line Avenue near East 70th Street. And we're still keeping an eye on some backed-up traffic on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
One Shreveport City Council member wants his colleagues to go on the record about the job the chief of police is doing. Willie Bradford has a resolution before the council this week that is a vote of no confidence in Alan Crump's reign as chief. KEEL News asked Bradford who we should try to bring in as chief if a change is made.
We need to do a national search. We need to find the best possible available chief of police who has the record, who has the experience, who has the forward thinking, who has the overall vision of what this police department is capable of doing, potential of doing.
Bradford's resolution has no impact on the chief's future. He simply wants to send a signal to the mayor. Shreveport police on the hunt for 2 men that robbed Zip's car wash on Kitty Lane at gunpoint last night. According to police, the men pulled their guns and demanded the store's manager put money in a backpack. No one was hurt. New budget could give a bump to first responders. Matt Parker has that.
The Shreveport City Council is reviewing Mayor Ollie Tyler's proposed 2018 budget. In the budget is a lot of new funds for police and fire. The budget calls for a $5 million renovation of the police complex, a $200 increase to the police's wardrobe allowance, and base pay raises of 5%. The Shreveport Fire Department is also penciled in to get new EMS vehicles, a pay raise for paramedics, and more educational classes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
In 2 years, you'll be casting ballots for our next governor. Current Governor John Bel Edwards is planning to run again. Pollster Bernie Pincinat says Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry could challenge Edwards, and tensions between the two continue to escalate. Pincinat says there's been word that along with Landry, Congressman Garrett Graves and Steve Scalise, as well as Senator John Kennedy, are taking a look at the seat.
The person who has the first say on this is U.S. Senator John Kennedy. He's the guy who has the power and the wherewithal to be the candidate if he wants to be.
Pincinat says expect GOP leaders to keep attacking the governor on various issues. And one they're on the attack over Claims by Attorney General Jeff Landry that the expansion of the Medicaid program has helped fuel the opioid crisis. LDH Chief of Staff Andrew Tuozola says legislation passed this year that limits first-time prescriptions for opioids has been effective. He says the total number of pills prescribed has decreased by more than 10 million doses, a 3% reduction from the year before Medicaid expansion to the year after. He says Medicaid expansion has also helped thousands get treatment for addiction to painkillers.
The fact of the matter is that the Medicaid expansion is a lifeline, first of all, for people with addiction. Like we said, 13,000 instances of treatment for addiction. So there's people that are now getting treatment.
The state fair wrapped up yesterday with the annual Arklatex Veterans Parade. Overall attendance this year was up and down due to some storms and other changing weather conditions. General Manager Chris Giordano hopes a strong closing weekend would help their overall numbers out. LSU is now 7-3, 4-2 in the SEC after a big win over Arkansas. This Saturday, they'll visit a Tennessee team that was crushed by Missouri 50-17. The Vols are 0-6 in league, but Coach O says their preparation for Saturday's game is about LSU.
I think one thing that's going to help us this week that we've seen that although we won the game, we didn't play well in spots. And when you win the game and your team doesn't play well in spots, they kind of see it on film and they respond a little bit better.
Meantime, Arkansas quarterback Cole Kelly arrested for DWI, careless driving, and several other offenses in Fayetteville. Kelly was booked Sunday morning. He's due in court for his first hearing today. Kelly played the fourth quarter in Arkansas's loss to LSU Saturday. A powerful earthquake that struck the Iraq-Iran border region has killed more than 330 people in both countries. The chairman of the House Tax Writing Committee expressing confidence that chamber won't go along with the Senate's proposal to eliminate the deduction for property taxes, setting up what could be a major stumbling block in getting the deal done. A new study shows women are less likely than men to get CPR from a bystander and are more likely to die as a result. Researchers say they think it's because people are reluctant to touch a woman's chest. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
It is 736, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Have either of you seen, I don't know. Are you a spicy food aficionado? Do you like spicy food? Do you like hot stuff? When you go to, you put Louisiana hot sauce on everything like my nephew Brad does?
No. And if I were to go to Taco Bell, which I won't, I would get the mild. So I'm not a spicy.
Are you a spicy food guy?
I like spicy stuff if it has flavor. I'm just not one of those guys that eat hot stuff just for the sake of it. Oh, it's a ghost pepper. Better chow that down.
I like I like spicy crawfish. I mean, I do like that.
Have you heard of the one chip challenge?
No. Well, I saw somebody put a video up. I just didn't watch because I have an idea what it is. You can never eat this one chip. It's too hot.
And yet they try.
Is it like the cinnamon challenge where you're never going to succeed?
It's no. I mean, it's a real deal. It sounds like all I can think of is the boxer Manny Pacquiao So all I can think of the brand is Pacquiao chips, but that's not what it is.
Can we get one and let Matt try it?
And it is a we'll find somebody in the building who prides themselves on their ability to eat hot stuff.
If it's got flavor, I'll try it. If it's just hot for the sake of being hot, I will not eat it.
I mean, a bunch of guys on ESPN did it, and they were dying. I mean, there's people this is so hot, people are throwing up from this.
Wow.
And I don't know, we'll find out.
I don't want that then. No, I don't want.
No, there's no way I would do that.
No TU
but
in this
evidently it is so hot, so spicy. I mean, it comes in, it literally, this one chip looks like a single Dorito.
They sell it by one chip.
Comes in a box.
You have to buy the one chip.
One chip. It is so hot. It is so spicy.
Wow.
It is so... You got anything on it there?
No, I was just going to ask, is this one of those spicy things that you have to handle with gloves and the whole nine?
You don't want to go pee afterwards, okay?
Ooh, imagine rubbing your eyes.
101 said that was... I'd rub those first. 739, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Tell who the girl in the room is, can't you? Yeah. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Line Avenue near East 70th Street. And we're still keeping an eye on some backed-up traffic on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Here we go. It's called the Packy. It's P-A-Q-U-I. The Packy. The company is Packy Chips.
It's like Manny Pacquiao's behind this?
Close enough. P-A-Q-U-I. It's a North Carolina company. Packy, P-A-Q-U-I, Carolina Reaper Madness One Chip Challenge.
Wow.
And it's $59.
For one chip?
For one chip.
Who's getting all the money?
It's $59. I would imagine some guy in North Carolina who is watching everything about his company go viral.
Wow.
Tomorrow morning in the 8 o'clock hour, right here in this very studio, we will have, let's see, Caddo Parish School Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey.
We're going to Pacquiao him in.
And you know what? I was thinking about that for the first question. Introduce them and say, thank you for joining us for the One Chip Challenge.
Yeah. Oh!
And
which one would do it?
And just see,
they're not doing it.
I'm thinking they would all immediately head to Cracker Barrel for breakfast.
Yeah, they're out.
Dr. Lamar Gorey, Dr. Cade Brumley from DeSoto, and Scott Smith from over Bossier Way. And it's going to be basically a summit, a get-together.
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do a town square on education.
3 school supers standing around, sitting around in this case, talking education.
Yeah.
So what's your first question? You thought about it? What's your first question?
Oh, boy. I have a couple in mind. I have to kind of hone it. I'm going to hone it and see what I need to do.
Throw it out. Let's hone.
We're going to hone away. How can education leaders help bridge the gap of what is the problem at home? Because the problem we've all gotten down to is at home for a lot of these kids.
But they've answered
How
that.
can
they
No, I want to hear. Let me get some specifics. What can you guys do to help solve that problem? Because we just can't go to social service agencies and say, take these kids away from their families because they're not doing right by them. What can we all do together to help solve the problem?
They've sort of answered that. And they said, look, we have enough problems, we have enough work, we have enough of a mountain to climb. The 6 or 8 or 10 hours a day they're here. When those kids leave, now you want me to follow them home? You want me to somehow influence their home?
No, but what can your groups, the education groups, bring to the table to help? Are there some things you can do better? Are there some things, the city governments can do better to help these kids? Let's all sit down and talk about what we can do to help.
So you want them to be more than teachers? Now you want them to be social workers?
Well, do I want to lock these kids up in 20 years? No.
But you're missing the point of
So
all
let's
that.
all solve it now while they're little.
But we already, in other words, what it comes down to, what you're talking about, is bigger government, more programs, more bureaucracy, and a farther-reaching effect into everyone's home life. Remember now, you're just not talking about reaching into the homes of troubled and or disadvantaged families. Bureaucracy doesn't stop with necessarily the people who need it.
Right.
It reaches out into everyone's lives.
Sure, you bet it does.
So the question is right now is, as large as, and I don't necessarily mean just the school district or the people who work for it, although it has increased in size. You know the numbers. You've worked in this market for 25 or 30 years. Okay? But when you start talking about we're not spending enough money, the bureaucracy is not big enough.
I'm not saying that. You're putting words into my mouth. I want to know if there are some innovative things we can do
that are free.
You can adjust your budgets. What you have in your budget now, let's figure out a better way to allocate the money to address. Because I know, you and I both know, if I have a kid that goes to Sunset Acres, where the school scored a 28,
right,
failing for 3 years, if I'm Johnny and you're Jimmy, and Jimmy has no background in reading, he's not even ready to be in school, well, you're not bringing the level up to Johnny. You're bringing the level down to Jimmy. And guess what Johnny's getting? He's getting an education that's not, he's ahead of it. What can we do to adjust that? What can we do to make sure the children who are not ready to be in school, we raise them up rather than bring the others down?
So now you're talking about, and I'm going to an extreme here. So now you're talking about segregating kids. We'll put the smart kids in this class, and the disadvantaged, did not have the advantages at home kids in this class.
Well,
get ready for that lawsuit.
That may sound crazy.
It doesn't.
That may sound crazy.
Yeah.
And if I'm crazy, that's fine. But wouldn't you give more concentrated attention to the smaller group of children who really need the help, rather than bring down what you're teaching to all the kids?
Okay.
Doesn't it sound sensible? I mean, I may be an idiot, but it sounds sensible, doesn't it?
What's question number 2?
Oh, boy.
Because right now, you and I have taken a 6-minute segment. What's question number 1? And you have spent 4.5 of those minutes as, in other words, to you, the number 1, the biggest problem facing the schools is, what do you do with the kids who aren't ready? And is that the majority of kids? What do you do with the kids that are ready to learn, or that want to learn, or that come from a background, some would say privileged because you have 2 parents, or privileged because their parents read to them? Are you going to reallocate money to this number over here and take away from the number over here?
That may be what you have to do, and I know it sounds crazy.
And now my question comes back to you is, we've got a promo running. I, Erin Ann McCarty, do solemnly swear, no, that I am not giving enough money. No more tax. Okay.
No more taxes.
So at the end of the day, in a country where we pay more, where we spend more on education than anybody else in the world, and I think it's fair to say we might not get the most for our dollar. What more in a system like that? And I'm not pinpointing Caddo or Bossier or DeSoto. I'm saying in toto, America. In a country where we spend so much on education and in so many instances don't seem to get our money's worth, is spending more money really the answer? Do you want to give more money to the people that are saying, I need more money because I'm not doing enough with what you're giving me?
I would way rather spend the money on these children when they're 4 and 5 than spend it on them when they're 20 to send them to Angola.
Look at me. And you say that every time. And I say to you every time, Erin, we already are spending money on them. We already are. How many more social programs do you want? How much bigger do you want to build the entitlement bureaucracy? How much more money do you want to take from your paycheck? And we're going to talk about, for example, Medicaid just a little bit later. And the expansion of Medicaid, and it's helping people. But on the other hand, how many people do you want to give free health care? No, not how many do you want to give free health care to. How many can we as a society afford to give free health care to?
Big questions.
749, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, 750, and your money now. Eight before 8, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints ran their winning streak to 7 games with a complete dominance of the Bills in Buffalo. New Orleans ran for 298 yards with Mark Ingram accounting for 131 and Alvin Kamara 105. Ingram had 3 of the Saints' franchise record 5 rushing touchdowns, with Drew Brees adding 1 and undrafted rookie Trey Edmonds capping the effort with a 41-yard scoring jaunt. Buffalo only mustered 198 total yards and 10 first downs as the Saints defense continued to pace the league during this success string. Former Louisiana Tech standout Xavier Woods' first career interception set up Houghton native Dak Prescott's 11-yard touchdown run, and that was basically only positive things coming out of the Cowboys' 27-7 loss in Atlanta. The Falcons' Adrian Claiborne racked up 6 sacks, one off the NFL single-game record as he took advantage of Tyron Smith missing the game with back and groin injuries. The Cowboys, without their starting tackle and also missing Ezekiel Elliott for the first time due to his suspension, looked toothless against the defending NFC champs. Prescott finished 20 for 30, but only produced 176 yards with just 2 completions for over 20 yards. His counterpart, Matt Ryan, threw 2 touchdown passes, and Tevin Coleman added 1 on the ground. Dallas falls to 5-4. The L.A. Rams blasted Houston in L.A. 33-7 with Jared Goff throwing 3 touchdowns to lead the way. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
So this one-chip challenge thing, how much money would you want to do it?
Me?
Yeah, what would you want to do that?
It would have to be $50.
We need to find, that wouldn't even pay for that. Can you imagine? I'm paying $59.95 for a single chip. Now, I guarantee you, my nephew Brad would come in and do it.
Would he really?
Oh, my God, he does. He puts hot sauce on everything. I swear to you.
Please tell me he doesn't put hot sauce on scrambled eggs.
That's
gross.
That goes without saying. He puts, look at me. I'm going to say this, and if he's listening, he knows it to be true. If any of my family members are listening, they know this to be true. If anyone knows my nephew Brad, they know this to be true. My nephew Brad puts Tabasco sauce on salad.
No, he does not.
Promise.
Wow. He's insane.
Promise. He puts Tabasco on salad. As far as I know, he puts it on cereal. I've just never been with him at 7 o'clock in the morning to see.
Cereal?
Cheerios, milk, sugar, and Louisiana. Hell on the red.
Man.
That's what my dad used to love. Hell on the red. That's where he gets it.
Could he just drink it right out of the bottle?
757, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Sean Hannity time.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Now look at all the allegations. Ben Affleck, 2 accusers. Then you got Roy Price, who's the director, interestingly, of Bezos' Amazon Studios. And he has an accuser. Oliver Stone has one accuser. You've got Bob Weinstein, the brother, has an accuser. James Toback, at least 238 accusers, who's attended the documentary Night Will Fall. Then you've got, people, George Herbert Walker Bush was accused 4 times when he was in his wheelchair. And then you've got Terry Richardson, multiple people. Kevin Spacey, multiple people. And Ben Affleck, multiple people. Jerry Piven, multiple people. Dustin Hoffman, multiple people. Brett Ratner, multiple people. Ed Westwick, multiple people. Steven Seagal, multiple people. How do we ever figure out the truth?
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey, everybody's got a to-do list. Drop everything off the dry cleaning, pick up some milk. Here's an idea. Let's save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. Now, the good thing is you don't have to drop off anything or pick up anything. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, well, you can be saving 15% or more on car insurance. Maybe you need extra money in your pocket. It just may be the most rewarding thing you do today. Now, it's that easy. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. Just go to geico.com. Geico.com. All right, I recently gave my home a facelift. I did it the best and simplest way possible. Brand new blinds from Blinds.com. Every single order gets free shipping. And guess what? Their prices, they're unbeatable. Now, let's say you accidentally mismeasure. You pick the wrong color. They will remake your blinds for free. Now through November the 20th, when you go to Blinds.com or call 1-888-4BLINDS, you're going to save up to 40% off everything, plus an additional 5% when you use the promo code Hannah.
Keeping an eye right now on some backed up traffic on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. And we're looking at some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Mostly cloudy, low 49 tonight. Some sun will return for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Right now, 57. It's 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, 8 o'clock. Here comes Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk more about the police chief of Shreveport, the no confidence vote. That's coming up. Got Tim Fletcher ahead, too, traffic and weather. And in the local news, armed robbers hit a local car wash. We'll talk about that. And the state fair is a wrap. That's all coming up on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Police are on the hunt for a pair of armed robbers. Matt Parker has details.
Shreveport police are on the hunt for two men that robbed a Zips car wash on Kitty Lane at gunpoint Sunday evening. According to police, the men brandished their weapons and demanded the store's manager place money into a backpack. Both men were allegedly carrying semi-automatic handguns. They were able to flee the scene on foot. No one was hurt during the encounter. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The Shreveport Council reviewing Mayor Ollie Tyler's proposed budget. In the deal, there's a lot of new money for police and fire. The budget calls for a $5 million renovation of the police complex, a $200 increase to the police wardrobe allowance, and base pay raise of 5%. Shreveport Fire Department also penciled in to get new EMS vehicles, a pay raise for paramedics, and more educational courses. The state fair is a wrap. The annual Architects Veterans Parade a big hit. Overall attendance this year was up and down due to some storms and other changing weather conditions. General Manager Chris Giordano hopes a strong closing weekend will help the overall numbers out. This week, 2 years from now, voters will cast their ballots for Louisiana's next governor. Current Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards is planning to run again. Pollster Bernie Pincinat says Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry could challenge Edwards, and tensions between the two continue to escalate. He says expect GOP leaders to keep attacking the governor on various issues.
All of these Republicans are going to continue. We have a Democratic governor. The Republicans think that this is a red state, so they think the seat should go back to the Republicans.
Congressman Steve Scalise and Senator John Kennedy also mentioned as possible candidates. Meantime, the Edwards administration is disputing the claim by Attorney General Landry that the expansion of the Medicaid program has helped fuel the opioid crisis. Landry asserts that hundreds of thousands of new prescriptions have been provided to Louisiana patients in the past year at almost no cost, which has exacerbated the problem. LDH Chief of Staff Andrew Tuazola says nothing could be further from the truth, as there's solid data that shows the state has been successful at limiting painkiller prescriptions.
For every prescription, there are less actual amount of opioids going out. The Medicaid expansion, again, has been a lifeline on prevention, but also are limits that we've implemented in concert with the Medicaid expansion.
Complete domination, that's the best way to describe the Saints' 47-10 beatdown of the Buffalo Bills. Quarterback Drew Brees on the team's 7th straight win.
It's still not perfect. There's still things that we can clean up. But, when you walk away from a victory like today, where, it's a very tough environment to play against a very good team, to win the way that we did, certainly gives us a ton of confidence moving forward.
LSU scored 4 TDs in the second half Saturday to beat Arkansas 33-10. Coach Ed Orgeron is glad the 11 a.m. kickoff or last week's loss to Alabama didn't negatively impact his team.
We had to bounce back and not have a hangover like we did in the past couple of years, and we did. So, we knew it was going to be a struggle, especially in the first quarter. I thought, these guys came to play, but always thought that we were going to win the game.
Meantime, Arkansas quarterback Cole Kelly arrested for DWI, careless driving, and several other offenses in Fayetteville. Kelly was booked early Sunday morning. He's due in court today. Powerful earthquake that struck the Iraq-Iran border region has killed more than 300 people in both countries. And home sweet home is more than just a warm and fuzzy saying for a couple in Omaha. Becky Riley says thousands of honeybees invaded her attic and produced so much honey that it was dripping down the walls of her house. She had to call in roofers to clean up the mess and install a new roof. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 8 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Some traffic. Here's some Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some backed up traffic on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. And we're looking at some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Mostly cloudy, low 49 tonight. Some sun will return for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
It's 11 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The KEEL app's a free download. Office Furniture Source is its presenter. It's our title sponsor. And it's absolutely free and sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. You look a little nervous down there.
Not at all.
You shouldn't be nervous.
I'm not nervous.
We are going to discuss, in the next 6 or 7 minutes, I am going to use very frank and blunt language. And so if you are offended by frank language of a sexual nature, I suggest you go away until about 20 past 8.
Okay.
Totally.
Come back. We'll miss you, but come back. Yeah.
I'm just warning you now. If you're driving down the road and that kind of, we're going to talk basically about Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And if this sort of thing, if this language might bother you, then I'm just saying, go away, come back. If you got kids in the car, go away, come back. It'll be okay.
Right.
Erin texted me yesterday, go away, come back. Just one more little warning.
Yeah.
Erin texted me yesterday. What time was it? And you said, I'm watching the Rams, and who were they playing?
Oh, gosh.
The
Houston.
Texans.
Yeah, Houston.
And they were playing in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Rams and Houston.
There was 1/4 of the stands filled. The rest was empty.
Stadium is more than half empty.
I was shocked.
And I jokingly said they're all at the hashtag #MeToo march, which they had yesterday in Hollywood.
Mhm.
If you had to pick, just of all the guys that have been accused of harassment or worse over the last, say, 2 or a couple of months, Harvey Weinstein, Dustin Hoffman, Louis C.K., Bill Cosby, going back even further. If you had to pick 1 or 2 guys, because the first thing you say is, well, his career's over. But is it really? It's Hollywood. It's a depraved and pretty sleazy place. So if you had to pick 1 guy whose career might not be over, who might make a comeback from these accusations and in many cases confessions, Kevin Spacey's another.
I think Dustin Hoffman might make it through.
Really?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
You pick him because that bothered you. You pick him. Look, you could go back and listen, and I'm not blaming you. To the contrary, I think it was kind of nice that when the accusations of his repeated behavior of blunt and frank sexual come-ons to young women of age, but young nonetheless, that really bothered you. I mean, look, I admitted I was a Tiger Woods apologist going back. I just didn't want to believe that was that he was doing that because he was such a great golfer.
Right.
The Bill Cosby thing. Look, I've told you a million times. When I was a kid, like 5th and 6th grade, Bill Cosby was my hero. I wanted to be Bill Cosby. It was the first show business guy. He was the first hero I had as a kid that was outside the realm of sports. Bill Cosby was my hero. I got when a new Bill Cosby album would come out, guys are buying the Beatles. I'm buying Bill Cosby comedy albums.
Right. I was a huge Bill Cosby fan, too. I was a huge Kevin Spacey fan.
So Dustin Hoffman, you think, makes a comeback? Although they've sort of buried that, if you will.
Right.
I guess in the trail of all the others, in the vapor of all the others. Louis C.K. or Louis C.K., hell, in this case, both their careers are over. What do you think about that? Because the one commonality in all of this, in all the apologies, and this is what I find so astonishing, the one common thread in all of these apologies is, I now realize, or I now understand, or I now know. So here comes the blunt part. If you're Louis C.K. and part of your apology is, I now realize, I now understand, my question would be, at what point did you think it was okay to masturbate in front of women who come to your hotel room thinking it's a business meeting?
Right. I don't know.
And his explanation, I apologize, I now understand.
Yeah. His apology says, quote, at the time, I said to myself that what I did was okay because I never showed a woman my blank.
Just hang on a second.
Without asking first.
What kind? Either A, he's just lying and his marketing guy wrote it.
Yeah.
Or B, how totally screwed up do you have to be that at any point in your life you thought that was acceptable?
You're messed up.
I now understand. I now realize. Or is that just a lie? You did it because somewhere along the line, you sick son of... You got away with it, and you did it because you could.
Yeah. He says, the power I had over these women is that they admired me, and I wielded that power irresponsibly.
I now realize that when people come to you shouldn't drop your pants. And at what point what do you mean you now realize?
Now I'm aware of the extent of the impact of my actions.
I got news for you. He's known all along.
Yes.
Since the first time that happened. And every single one of they knew exactly what I'm enlightened. I understand now. You're just lying.
You're absolutely right.
Does that make it worse? When Dustin Hoffman says, I now understand that I shouldn't have done that to a 19-year-old girl. When Louis C.K. says, I realize that my actions were wrong. When they all say, I now understand. They're just lying.
Absolutely. The lying is just dreadful for me.
They didn't have a sudden flash of morality. They've known all along
that what they did was wrong.
And now they're saying, well, I get it now.
Yeah.
No, they're just being PC, hoping to salvage something from a career that they have destroyed on their own.
Right.
I now realize that I shouldn't do those things.
You didn't know it was bad at the time?
You were ignorant until yesterday? That is so offensive to me.
That is. It's horrible.
So anybody that says that, should they get a second chance?
No. They really shouldn't. You're right. They really shouldn't.
I mean, that to me just makes it worse.
Come out and say, I was a moron. I did horrible things.
I am morally depraved. I am sexually twisted. I am bent. And I need more help than I could ever admit.
That would be great for me.
As opposed to, suddenly, the light is shown.
I realize I was wrong.
The light is shown on my pants. I know what I shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just all lies to me. 20 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update right now. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on West 70th Street near Pines Road, and we're still looking at that heavy backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound, starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.821, time for sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints ran their winning streak to 7 games with a complete dominance of the Bills in Buffalo. New Orleans ran for 298 yards with Mark Ingram accounting for 131 and Alvin Kamara 105. Ingram had 3 of the Saints' franchise record 5 rushing touchdowns, with Drew Brees adding 1 and undrafted rookie Trey Edmonds capping the effort with a 41-yard scoring jaunt. Buffalo only mustered 198 total yards and 10 first downs as the Saints defense continued to pace the league during this success string. Former Louisiana Tech standout Xavier Woods' first career interception set up Houghton native Dak Prescott's 11-yard touchdown run, and that was basically only positive things coming out of the Cowboys' 27-7 loss in Atlanta. The Falcons' Adrian Claiborne racked up 6 sacks, one off the NFL single-game record as he took advantage of Tyron Smith missing the game with back and groin injuries. The Cowboys, without their starting tackle and also missing Ezekiel Elliott for the first time due to his suspension, looked toothless against the defending NFC champs. Prescott finished 20 for 30, but only produced 176 yards with just 2 completions for over 20 yards. His counterpart, Matt Ryan, threw 2 touchdown passes, and Tevin Coleman added 1 on the ground. Dallas falls to 5-4. The L.A. Rams blasted Houston in L.A. 33-7 with Jared Goff throwing 3 touchdowns to lead the way. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
The #1 family show of 2016 is back and all new. Join Peppa, George, Mommy, and Daddy Pig.
Twenty-four past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, quick question, just off the top. I'm going to make a point here. When was the Sutherland Springs? When was the mass shooting in Texas?
Oh gosh, shoot! Last week? 2 weeks ago? I don't know. Isn't that terrible? When was it?
A week ago yesterday.
It was Sunday. Yeah.
Doesn't it seem? Doesn't it seem?
It's unreal.
Like 1,000 years ago?
Yeah.
I saw the news story yesterday. I'm listening that there were memorial services yesterday and a couple of funerals on Saturday, and I heard that and it said, I thought, oh, why did it take so long to do this? And then they said from last Sunday's shooting, and I thought, no, it was 2 weeks ago. No, it was a week ago. It was Monday morning. It was 1 week ago today in the 6 o'clock segment that I said, and then again in the 8, that I sat in here and said, I'm just tired. I'm just emotionally tired. Remember?
Yeah. It's troubling to every week or every other week.
But it's 1 week. And look how because of
we've moved on.
Of the media turnover where things, give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world. Well, you know what? Our world doesn't even last 22 minutes anymore.
Yeah, that's the truth. Golly,
because as soon as I heard that in the news story yesterday, I went, no, it was 2 weeks ago. No, it was last Sunday. It was last Monday morning I sat in here and said those same things. That this one bothered me the most, that I'm just tired. Remember, and I likened it to doing the IQ test.
Yeah.
Remember, I said my brain freezes up on an IQ test.
Wore your brain out, yeah.
And I can't do those puzzles, those questions. And I said, this is just like that. My brain tries to figure out these killings, this lack of morality, this evil, and it just frustrates me. That was 1 week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I can't believe that it's 1 week ago. Why are they taking so long to bury these people? Why are they taking so long to do memorials? No, it's been 6 days.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if in your mind, if in your sense of time, yes, you do the same thing.
Right. I'm thinking it was 2 weeks.
Your first response was, 2 weeks ago. How long ago does it seem? It seems a million years ago.
Yeah,
it seems
does.
1,000 shows ago.
Golly, that's so sad.
How long ago does Las Vegas seem?
A month?
A year? I don't know. That's what I mean. What are we doing that so scrambles our ability to remember when something was? It's not our age.
Desensitizes us. I don't know. You've got a good point. I don't get it.
Is there just so much information every day, bam, 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 that we become incapable not only, And these are both, neither of them are good things. That we not only lose our ability to know when something wasn't, have a sense of time or space, but it also causes us to lose our sense of emotion.
Yeah.
It's
we
been
just move on to the other next. And what's next?
It's been 8 days, not even 7.5 days. And you look at me and go, what, 2 weeks ago? No. 6 days ago, 7 days ago. Why does it seem like a million years? Because we are constantly bombarded with stuff. No, wait. We constantly let ourselves be bombarded with stuff.
Right.
Well, okay, I saw the mass shooting in Texas. Now, what else is going on Facebook? What else is going on social media? What else is on whatever website that you go to? Bam, 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 bam. And it's 1,000 things a day. And if it's 1,000 things a day, it's 5,000, 7,000, 10,000 days a week. And we lose perspective, and we lose sense of time. And to make it even worse, we lose sense of emotion and caring.
Definitely. Unbelievable.
You're waving your phone. What you got?
Well, I want to talk about tomorrow because we're going to have a big day tomorrow. The 3 education superintendents from right here in the area, Lamar Gorey, Scott Smith, Cade Brumley.
Hold the thought.
They're going to be in studio for
8 till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, a whole hour.
The Erin Education Summit. A little more detail a little later this hour.
And I also want to rank my football teams, too, before we go away today.
29 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. It's traffic time. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Juella Avenue and West 70th Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some traffic delays on Shed Road near Stockwell Road in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
One Shreveport City Council member wants his colleagues to go on the record about the job the chief of police is doing. Willie Bradford has a resolution before the council this week that is a vote of no confidence in Alan Crump's reign as chief. KEEL News asked Bradford who we should try to bring in as chief if a change is made.
We need to do a national search. We need to find the best possible available chief of police who has the record, who has the experience, who has the forward thinking, who has the overall vision of what this police department is capable of doing, potential of doing.
Bradford's resolution has no impact on the chief's future. He simply wants to send a signal to the mayor. Shreveport police on the hunt for 2 men that robbed Zip's car wash on Kitty Lane at gunpoint last night. According to police, the men pulled their guns and demanded the store's manager put money in a backpack. No one was hurt. New budget could give a bump to first responders. Matt Parker has that.
The Shreveport City Council is reviewing Mayor Ollie Tyler's proposed 2018 budget. In the budget is a lot of new funds for police and fire. The budget calls for a $5 million renovation of the police complex, a $200 increase to the police's wardrobe allowance, and base pay raises of 5%. The Shreveport Fire Department is also penciled in to get new EMS vehicles, a pay raise for paramedics, and more educational classes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
In 2 years, you'll be casting ballots for our next governor. Current Governor John Bel Edwards is planning to run again. Pollster Bernie Pincinat says Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry could challenge Edwards, and tensions between the two continue to escalate. Pincinat says there's been word that along with Landry, Congressman Garrett Graves and Steve Scalise, as well as Senator John Kennedy, are taking a look at the seat.
The person who has the first say on this is U.S. Senator John Kennedy. He's the guy who has the power and the wherewithal to be the candidate if he wants to be.
Pincinat says expect GOP leaders to keep attacking the governor on various issues, and one they're on the attack over, the claims by Attorney General Jeff Landry that the expansion of the Medicaid program has helped fuel the opioid crisis. LDH Chief of Staff Andrew Tuozola says legislation passed this year that limits first-time prescriptions for opioids has been effective. He says the total number of pills prescribed has decreased by more than 10 million doses, a 3% reduction from the year before Medicaid expansion to the year after. He says Medicaid expansion has also helped thousands get treatment for addiction to painkillers.
The fact of the matter is that the Medicaid expansion is a lifeline, first of all, for people with addiction. Like we said, 13,000 instances of treatment for addiction. So there's people that are now getting treatment.
The state fair wrapped up yesterday with the annual Arklatex Veterans Parade. Overall attendance this year was up and down due to some storms and other changing weather conditions. General Manager Chris Giordano hopes a strong closing weekend would help their overall numbers out. LSU is now 7-3, 4-2 in the SEC after a big win over Arkansas. This Saturday, they'll visit a Tennessee team that was crushed by Missouri 50-17. The Vols are 0-6 in league, but Coach O says their preparation for Saturday's game is about LSU.
I think one thing that's going to help us this week that we've seen that although we won the game, we didn't play well in spots. And when you win the game and your team doesn't play well in spots, they kind of see it on film and they respond a little bit better.
Meantime, Arkansas quarterback Cole Kelly arrested for DWI, careless driving, and several other offenses in Fayetteville. Kelly was booked Sunday morning. He's due in court for his first hearing today. Kelly played the fourth quarter in Arkansas's loss to LSU Saturday. A powerful earthquake that struck the Iraq-Iran border region has killed more than 330 people in both countries. The chairman of the House Tax Writing Committee expressing confidence that chamber won't go along with the Senate's proposal to eliminate the deduction for property taxes, setting up what could be a major stumbling block in getting the deal done. A new study shows women are less likely than men to get CPR from a bystander and are more likely to die as a result. Researchers say they think it's because people are reluctant to touch a woman's chest. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
So if you think it's that great an idea, just buy the website.
I should.
Name.
I should.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, except if we say it out loud. How much is it? Before we tell people what it is and somebody else goes to buy it.
What do they charge? $49 or something like that on GoDaddy? Yeah.
So spend $49 right now. Write it down, spend the money right now. You can pay with PayPal. Then we'll tell people what it is.
I'll have to do that.
Just do it right now.
No, I don't have all my junk with me.
You click on PayPal.
Okay, give me your account number.
You don't need an account number. There will be. How do you want to pay? Click on PayPal. You don't need anything except your PayPal password.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have all that with me.
You don't need it. It's in your head.
No, I don't know if I have my PayPal. I don't use PayPal that much at all.
You don't know what your password for PayPal
No.
is? Seriously.
Robert, who are you talking to?
Yeah. Wait, it's only 99 cents? It can't be.
Well, you have to pay to build it up and create the actual website.
Yeah.
You just get the domain for the one low price of whatever.
Add to cart.
But if you own the domain...
Oh, no, I don't want that. I want brownies. Shoot.
You want to tell them what it is?
Did I just give it away? Yeah, this was an idea we had years ago, though.
Well, it's part of an idea. A long time ago, like about 2 or 3 years ago, Erin had the idea.
Before we moved to KEEL, but...
You know what we need? She said we need to buy the website name coloradobrownies.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, okay, then what? She said, well, we couldn't do this for long, but what we do is we just send people, we sort of imply that we're selling marijuana-laced brownies. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, we just send them regular brownies.
Yeah.
And she said...
And upcharge them.
Well, and you figure, yeah, like one brownie, $29.95.
Yeah.
And I said, but people are going to realize. She said, oh, no, only half the people will realize because the other will talk themselves into being stoned.
Believing they had weed in them.
And so, the more I'm thinking about this now, it's genius.
It is genius.
Okay, so let's say, just theoretically, to pull a number out of my butt, okay, let's say that you do coloradobrownies.com.
Mm-hmm.
And for $50 a brownie, that you mail people what they think are marijuana-laced brownies.
Right.
Okay, so you've got, what number did I say? 100 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so 50 of those, first shipment, totally benign brownies. Nothing in there.
Right, regular old Erin brownies.
Right, so you've got 100 brownies at $50 per.
Mm-hmm. Might even buy them at Walmart.
Half of those people are going to think they're high.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're down to 50 people will reorder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after the second shipment, 25 of those are going to think they're high.
Yeah.
25 are going to reorder. Now, admittedly, your business has a shelf life, but so did the Elio. I mean, at the same time, maybe we can get government to invest in this because it's the PC thing to do.
Absolutely. It's, crossing state lines. We're expanding businesses.
coloradobrownies.com plans to move into the GM plant.
Oh, I like that.
Generally marijuana. We don't even have to change. We don't even.
How about government marijuana?
Great marijuana.
Get government funding.
Don't even have to change the abbreviation of the building. Now, admittedly, with every shipment, you're reducing your number of stoners by half.
Well, no, because they're going to talk to their friends about it, so we'll add new people.
So the 25 that are tricking themselves into thinking they're high.
It'll grow because they'll tell their friends.
Buy that website.
I know.
This is the worst idea ever.
I'll give you half. 8:39, it's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL traffic time. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Juella Avenue and West 70th Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some traffic delays on Shed Road near Stockwell Road in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 49. Tomorrow will turn out partly sunny. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. The Keel app's a free download. Office furniture source. That's me. That's my hypnotic voice. Try not to be frozen in place.
Please stop.
8:42. Did I say that already? Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Already there. The AP poll, which is what the coaches poll. And
No, there's an AP poll and a different one, a coaches
there's
poll.
a writers poll, I guess, is AP.
Yeah.
And the thing about these two college polls is that they don't matter a lick, a whit,
Not
a
till
darn.
tomorrow night.
No, not at all. They
Mhm.
have zero effect on anything. Why they exist, I don't know.
I think tomorrow's voters probably, the committee probably looks at their polls.
They don't.
Oh, yeah, they do. Come on, don't be an idiot.
I mean, they may look, but
They look.
they discard it entirely.
I'm sure they do, but they look.
Here's the thing about the top four, and it was Alabama. It was Alabama.
Georgia.
I'm sorry, you're right. Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
The reason, in retrospect, that Georgia and Notre Dame were numbers 1 and 3 was they were unbeaten,
Mm-hmm.
but their entire reputation for their ranking was built on they had played each other.
No, Notre Dame had one loss.
Yeah, they lost to Georgia by like a point or two.
They weren't unbeaten.
No, I didn't say unbeaten. I said they
You
were.
said they were both unbeaten.
I'm sorry, they were in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
The point being, their reputation for being in the top 4 was on one game, their
Yeah.
game against each other.
Which Georgia won by close margin.
Right, and it turns out neither of them were very good.
No, Georgia got spanked this weekend
So
by
my-
Auburn, while Miami clobbered Notre Dame.
So my question to you is, if this panel of voters that make up the college football, the Final Four that they will declare at some point down the line, early December, if they could be so wrong about these two teams, who and yet they are the be all, the end all. They are the final word.
Mm-hmm.
We, this panel of experts, will determine what 4 teams play for the championship. Well, you know what? If the season ended yesterday, they would have picked 2 teams that sucked.
Yeah, and you know, I love Notre Dame. Always have. My dad was a Notre Dame nut, but they always, by some of these old timey sports guys that are on this committee, they always get more credit than they're due.
Reputation.
Reputation.
So who's to say that University of Central Florida, ranked like number 9 or 10, and they're undefeated,
Mhm.
who's to say they shouldn't be a top 5 team?
Yeah.
Wisconsin, they're undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the point is we put all this credibility and credence and weight on this panel of people who, as the season goes on, are borne out to be not all that smart to begin with.
Yeah.
So Erin McCarty right now, speaking of smart, what is your top 4?
I'm going to go Alabama, number 1.
Got to.
I'm going to put Wisconsin. I know people gripe about this.
Wait, so you're going to jump. Look, I know it seems silly.
Mhm.
Erin, what's your opinion? And then I tell you your opinion's stupid. Well, Robert,
Yeah.
why did you even ask? So you're going to leap Wisconsin, which is number 7 or 8, over Miami. And over previously ranked number 4 Clemson, who
Mhm.
won handily this weekend, and you're going to put Wisconsin
Yeah.
at number. How do you have Wisconsin jump Miami?
I don't know. You look at the coaches poll and the AP poll, they've got Miami number 2. They've got Oklahoma 3 in one and Clemson 3 in the other.
So here's my question.
I just think they're undefeated. I think they got to
So
be up
is
there.
Miami.
Miami would be 3rd.
Why would you put Miami, who beat a top 4 team, even though they were overrated, over Wisconsin that really, strength of schedule?
I've watched them. I've watched the Wisconsin team. I've watched Miami. I truly, I flip-flop on this because I think the 2 best teams really in the country right now are Alabama, Miami. And I want to see them in the title
This
game.
is going to sound horrible, and I don't mean this to sound like I'm throwing this in your face. But you're the woman that a week ago sat there and said that Georgia would beat the crap out of Alabama.
I
That they
did.
were without a doubt the best team in the country.
I thought Georgia really looked sharp. Again, a couple of their games, they looked sharp. They were flat as heck
Okay,
Saturday.
I apologize. Give me your top 4, and I promise not to argue with you.
I'm going to go Alabama, Wisconsin, Miami, and I know the Clemson lovers are going to hate me about this, but I'm putting Oklahoma 4.
So you're taking, I know I said I wouldn't argue. So you're taking the team that was number 4
Mm-hmm.
when numbers 2 and 3 lost. I'm sorry, numbers 1 and 3 lost.
Right.
You're taking number 4 and who won and won easily and sweeping them aside and moving in 2 teams that That they were ranked, but they were farther down the list last week.
They still have to play Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miami's going to beat them. That's why I move them out.
Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Oklahoma. Number 4, Miami. It'll all come.
Undefeated Wisconsin.
The good news is, look, if all those teams, 2 of those teams, I was going to say if they win out, 2 of the teams can't win out.
Right.
Clemson and Miami will play each other.
The other thing that troubles me so much about this Alabama deal is Alabama in 2 weeks plays Auburn for the SEC West title. Alabama, no losses. Auburn's got 1 SEC loss to guess who?
LSU.
Yeah. If Auburn should beat Alabama, they would be tied in the SEC West.
But
head-to-head for the SEC West title would determine the winner. So if Auburn were to beat Alabama, Auburn would go play Georgia in the SEC title, which would be a meaningless game, except for Georgia would want some revenge for the loss. But you could have Alabama sitting at 10 or 11-1 with their only loss to a close game to Auburn.
I got news for you,
and would
kid.
still get in.
No, they wouldn't
Oh,
get in.
yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
So,
Alabama's clearly a top 4 team. Clearly.
So you would, and we'll wrap this up with this. So if Alabama loses prior to the SEC championship game, you would still put them in the top 4 ahead of 3 or at least 2 unbeaten teams.
I'd put them in the top 4.
No. If Alabama
Absolutely.
Alabama loses, they're out.
No.
849, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. Just a couple. Let's do traffic right now. Ruben looks ready on KEEL.
Dealing right now with some slow-moving traffic on St. Vincent Avenue near Hollywood Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Mostly cloudy, low 49 tonight. Some sun will return for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute. Tyrone Smokey White was let out of prison on November 2nd as part of the state's mandatory early release program. 5 days later, he was back in jail, charged with robbing 2 men at gunpoint.
That's because low-level inmates have the highest rearrest rates at nearly 75%. All we're really doing here is transferring the cost of crime back into the community by the early release of prisoners. I mean, the cost of police departments investigating new crimes, prosecutors filing new cases. Who pays for the price of massive release of unsupervised inmates?
All the money we saved by releasing Mr. White from prison's certainly going to be eaten up by having to try him for yet another crime.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
You know, the camera's on you, right?
I'm all right with that.
Put the camera on her again.
You know I've lost my ever-loving mind.
Yeah, but why do you brag about that?
Because I'm happy with my craziness.
Really?
Yeah. Of course I am.
Obviously, your self-centeredness that you don't care about your coworkers, that you're dragging down.
Bothering you.
It's this. Oh.
I'm exuberant.
What?
I'm an exuberant human being.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and exuberant Erin McCarty. Tomorrow morning in the 8 o'clock hour. Just kicking off at about 10 past 8 o'clock, we have the 3 area school superintendents from DeSoto, Dr. Cade Brumley, Lamar Gorey from Caddo, and Scott Smith from Bossier. And they will be talking about a myriad of topics.
You bet. It's going to be a great hour. If you've got questions for them, you can text them to us now. Get in line now if you'd
That
like.
wouldn't be bad. We will start saving them. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. One of the ones we got earlier this morning was their collective or individual positions on voucher program.
I think we know that one.
I don't know. Do we?
I think we do, yeah.
I don't know. Do we?
I may be wrong.
And somebody brought up the rather, boy, you talk about groundbreaking. Students in one parish being allowed to go to a school in another parish.
Yeah,
I think we're holding our don't hold your breath.
Also, the lights at some schools still haven't caught up with the daylight saving time change.
You got a couple of texts on that.
We did, yeah.
Got a couple of texts.
We need to make sure we get that fixed.
So it will be Messrs. Gorey and Brumley and Smith tomorrow morning just past 8 o'clock right here on KEEL. 8:57, back tomorrow morning, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Kim Commando.
There have been 3 of them so far, including one of the founders of Facebook. 3 major tech pioneers who have stepped forward with regrets about what they helped build. Kim Commando with your Monday Digital Consumer Tech Update. The first was Ethan Zuckerman. He invented the annoying online pop-up advertisements. Then came Tony Fadell, who helped invent iPods and iPhones. He says that he wakes up in the middle of the night wondering, what did we bring into this world? But the most haunting is Sean Parker. He invented Napster and helped launch Facebook. Parker says that he had no idea what he was doing at the time of Facebook's creation, that it was designed to exploit a human vulnerability, purposefully made to draw on its users and consume all of their time. He says that Snapchat, Instagram, and others are designed the same way. And he concludes with this statement: God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. Parents, are you listening? Our tech news and commentary is updated 24/7 at news.commando.com. That's KOMANDO.
Why just listen to the Kim Commando Show when there's so much more? Why not watch the whole show in high definition on your phone, tablet, or television?
This is so cool because you're so nice.
Or download the podcast in crystal clear digital audio. Watch or listen on your schedule, driving, exercising, or relaxing.
I have been following you for years, and you've made me pretty much the genius.
But Kim's Club is so much more. You also get security and data breach alerts, priority calling into the Kim Commando Show.
My favorite digital goddess. I'm so glad I get to talk to you.
And Kim's Club offers discounts for everyone over 50, former and current military, and all service personnel. It's never been more affordable to be a Kim's Club member. So stay up to date the easy and fun way. Because these days, you can't know too much about technology.
And it's like you're our friend on the radio, and I just think it's awesome.
Go now to club.commando.com. That's KOMANDO, club.commando.com.
The intersection at Jewella Avenue and West 70th Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some traffic delays on Shed Road near Stockwell Road in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and occasional sun with a high of 68 today. Mostly cloudy, low 49 tonight. Some sun will return for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 7